Hello everyone, welcome back to Maverick Mods. This week, back on the Mustang. Well, every week a little bit of work gets done on the Mustang. I should say every weekend a little bit of work gets done on the Mustang. But we are making progress. So, grab your popcorn, let's get started. For those of you who have no idea what this Mustang's all about, there's a link, well, one of these corners, not sure which. I'll put it up there for the beginning of the Mustang repaint. Alex is a 21-year-old Marine, works out at the local air station here. This Mustang was his first car. He bought it when he was 16. It was in moderate to decent shape then. He's done the best he can to keep it up. But the body's kind of, well, it's kind of deteriorated over the last couple of years. And he's taken it to, well, I'm going to say body shops, and a couple of times. And the cars come out of those body shops in worse shape than when it went in. So that's kind of what we're here all about now. I'm helping him to learn a little bit about some basic body work. The car itself needs more than he can afford right now, plain and simple. It needs some replacement body panels. There's no two ways about it. It needs a hood, it needs both quarters, it needs a tail panel, it needs things like that. But it's just not in the budget right now. So I'm doing the best I can to give him a car that in the end he can drive around and be proud of. And part of that is because I'm trying to teach him some basic techniques within the limits of what we have to work with, so that he can say, you know, I helped do this. And in the end, the goal is to give him at least a, well, I say a 20-foot paint job. I would prefer it to be a 10-foot, maybe, I think it may be stretched and be a 5-foot paint job, but we're going to give him the best outcome that we can. Okay, I've rambled on enough. Let's get started. Somehow or another, I came down with a case of the creeping crud. I'm still walking wounded, but the good news is Alex is doing all the work today. So I'm just going to coach, kibitz, and let him do his thing. Today we're going to kind of get the last of the old white paint off, and that would be the area around the taillights. So he's going to start taking things apart, and we'll see what we're dealing with. We're going to replace some parts on the Mustang today. No, it's not what you think. We're not replacing rusty body panels. Wish we could. But Alex has a complaint that the rear window leaks, and this rear window gasket is, well, it's definitely seen better days, that's for sure. He's got a new one here. We're going to take a look, see at what it's going to take just to swap that out. I want to replace it
for one main reason, and this is a truism. You guys can disagree with me, but I'll tell you what. I could go through this window channel prior to painting this car 10 times with 100 psi air nozzle, and as soon as I hit that with 10 psi coming out of the paint sprayer, all the trash that's in there is going to come out and into the paint. That is a truism. So we're going to solve two birds with one stone. We're going to stop the leak, and we're going to get and just kind of clean this channel out really well before we put everything back together. So what we got with the rear window gasket, the rear windows in these cars are not glued in with urethane. They're actually just put in with a gasket. It's similar to Chevy pickups, front windows, rear windows, things like that. So the window just fits in the groove here, and then you've got a channel here that just clamps, I guess you could call it, around the window channel on the car itself. I'm hoping we don't see any rust.
We will.
I'm hoping we don't. You'd be kind of surprised. It probably
I think
won't.
down in there,
yeah,
crusty.
So what we need to do, we need to work on this, but we need to release the gasket from the inside so the window will come out this way. So I'm going to go ahead and let you climb inside, take a look-see at the, see if you can peel this lip down. There's a couple different ways to do it. You can do it with string, you know, all the way around. Sometimes that works. Sometimes you can force a piece of string all the way through. There's about 6 different ways to get this, and about 3.5 of them work, and sometimes nothing works. So go ahead and climb inside. Grab the other leg.
I think I could just push it out.
No.
No.
If you try that, you're going to break the window.
Okay.
Try the top. It's easier. I've got a series of wedges. I just can't find them. So let's try this. All right. Try and work this way. Okay, there we go.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, not too bad.
All right. Okay, let's take a look at our channel. It's not bad. Here you get some sealer along. Actually, that's what is a headliner, so no problem there. That's actually I hate to say this, that's part of where your leaks are coming from, because this headliner is wrapping around here. Do you know for certain if this is the original headliner? I'll bet somebody replaced it along the lines when they redid the interior.
Well, if you can find a little bit of green, because the headliner would have been green.
When they replaced the headliner, they had the rear window out and they wrapped it around here. At least it's not rusty. That's a good sign.
A little bit here, but
I mean, not rotted through.
yeah.
What do you think? Go ahead and get the...
Oh, that's a little rotted right here.
Okay.
That's probably where my leak's coming from.
Let me take a look.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not rotted. It's just there's actually was supposed to be seam sealer in here, and there's not.
Oh yeah.
So it just that's where the two body panels converge.
Oh, I see.
See what I mean? So let's throw some seam sealer in those little corners, and hopefully that'll help you a little bit.
So stop it at least.
Yeah. All right. Well, we think start cleaning this up, and maybe a wire brush.
Shot back all that.
Shop
shit.
vac, got one of those. Clean some of that out, and let's work on getting that cleaned up, get the rear window back in. So we got the old gasket off, we've got the glass cleaned up, we've got the new gasket on, and this has worked in the past. Take a piece of string, run it inside the channel, all the way around. I need more. I'm going to set it and get the center of the string. I need more string. That's what I mean.
Okay, I got you.
And you want to leave yourself plenty. There we go. All right, now just keep running it around.
Okay. That's it right there, I suppose.
And now there's 2 channels on there. You get this one and the second one there. There you go. Okay, go ahead and flip the glass straight up just for a second. Yeah.
Oh, I see. One channel goes over the. Or how does it work?
Well, one of these is just like decorative. So this outside part is decorative.
Oh, I see. But it actually. Okay.
This is the one that fits in the actual channel.
Okay.
Alright, so we want to make sure that we overlap a little bit so it doesn't just fall out. And we want those to hang this way.
Yeah, because you want to pull it out from the inside.
Yep. Okay. Alright, now.
We get a little bit of tape so they don't fall in. Or...
We could do that. That's a good idea. No, don't cut that. I'm going to reuse the string that's not.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Cheap.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's move the camera.
Can we get on the inside?
As soon as we get it kind of
On it, yeah.
popped
Okay.
up into place here. So that I'm going to put right there. Now, if we can get it kind of started, at least in the right place. Okay. But the reason it's not coming in because of the corners.
Yeah.
So we'll probably have to start one corner. And we lube the inner channel with lithium grease.
Yep.
Okay. Let me find the channel, find the right one. There we go. All right, I will trade you locations for just a minute.
Okay.
And the idea is we get the bottom to drop in,
Right, and then pull
and we
the
can use the
string all
string
the way
to
around.
help pull the rubber around.
Is it just coming out? Is it working?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. So all that holds this in is a seal? There's no glue or anything?
No glue, no nothing.
Can't imagine doing this by yourself.
I have done it before.
I suppose it's possible.
It's not easy, but it is possible. Here we go.
Cool. That's solid. It's just the seal is still poking out like up here. Does that just need some massaging?
Yep. Whoa. Whoa.
You good?
I'm good.
Not enough iron in the brain?
All right, so let's take a look at the seal and just make sure.
I think it's supposed to be even, you know, like the same width.
Even.
Like, so you can see where it's
Oh,
poking
okay.
out a little bit. The rubber extends past it on the other side. So I think if you just...
You might need just a little bit of.
Yeah, you see how it doesn't sit in the channel? I mean, it sits in the channel, but you
Yeah.
can see where it's supposed to.
Oh. Nah, it's okay.
Okay.
Yep, it's good.
Okay.
Cool. It'll, like I say, it'll shift a little bit as we, as you drive it a little bit. It'll kind of find its new center.
Sure.
But that's how you replace the seal for a rear window on one of these.
Cool.
Well, I sent Alex to the parts store. Grab some various things. While he's gone, let's take a look at the trunk seal or the trunk gasket. He had replaced the trunk gasket, but it didn't hold very well. And the reason it didn't hold very well is he didn't use my technique to install the gasket itself. And so it pulled back on the edges because it was just too tight. So let me, we've got a new gasket, and I'm just gonna fit this to make sure there's enough gasket here. If I can figure out which is the proper way for it to go in, and it's the other way. What I want to do is I want to make sure that I've got enough to bunch it together at the corners so that there's basically a little bit more gasket than you need. We're just making sure we've got plenty of extra. That's all I'm doing right now. I'm not actually putting it in. I'm just making sure I've got plenty of extra so that when we do put it in permanently, see, there's not a whole lot of extra, but we're going to give it a try. Now here's what I do to try and keep the gasket from pulling out in the corners. And it takes a little bit of, I use a little bit of weather strip adhesive, and I just kind of work a little section at a time. Doesn't take much. And then when I go in the corner, I kind of just push a little bit towards the already portion of the gasket here as I work it under. I need to get a screwdriver here real quick to get that under. All right, I got one little edge right down here that's being just not cooperating yet, but it will. And just once you start, kind of take your time. You know, you don't have to bunch it in, but you don't want it to have any tension pulling out on this, because that'll make that gasket pull itself out. So once that glue sets a little bit, you can continue on. Just do a little section at a time. And like I said, all I'm doing is I'm not really bunching it even so much. I'm just kind of putting a little bit of tension this direction, just to give that gasket a little extra so it'll stay in the channel. Now we're just going to sit here and hold this for a second till that glue sets. Then I can work my way up here. Do the same thing around every corner. You don't have to do that on the sides. In fact, just let the sides lay in naturally. Okay, see how it just kind of holds there? Now I'll keep working my way around and we'll come back around to the finish. Working on the last corner here. Now like I said, all I'm doing is just as I come around the corners, said a little bit of weather strip adhesive is your friend. Doesn't take much. This stuff is gooey and I have always hated working with this, but you know, sometimes it's kind of a necessary evil. And as you work it in, like I said, you just give it a little bit of just a hint of a push, just to kind of just bunch it up a little bit as it goes around that corner. And then once you get it around the corner, like I said, do maybe a third at a time and just hold it as the glue sets. And that's all it takes. Then we can get the rest of it in. On the flat surfaces here, no biggie. Next time this thing goes in for major body work, it's definitely going to need a tail panel. There's no two ways about that. This one has reached the end of its service life. But it'll work for what we're attempting to do for the short term. Now once we get here, all we got to do is trim this just a little bit. Would probably help if my little razor blade was sharper. So once you get it trimmed, we'll just take and use just a little bit of weather strip adhesive and then kind of touch the ends so that they'll stick together. There we go. We have new truck weather stripping. Alex has been working on the roof to quarter interface here, and both sides are going to need some work. He's been block sanding here. He's got old pictures of the car when he first bought it, where at some point in time, the lead filler, which starts here and comes down to here, the lead filler in the original factory setup had failed and it was cracking. So that was removed and it was filled with basically metal filler. We think it was filled with metal filler. But they didn't quite get at some point in time, the contours have just gone all wonky on here. And you can tell, like right in here, we've got low spots. We got a really serious low spot right here. It's actually a seam. Low spot here, low spot here, low spot here. Not too bad there, but there's one right back here that's just, it's glaring. So a little bit of filler. These are shallow enough that we can use regular Bondo. This one is going to require metal filler. But for Alex here, he needs to know Can we put Bondo directly on this right here?
No.
No, because it needs to be sanded. We don't have to go down to bare metal. Well, in this case, there may not be metal, but we can do it right over the primer. But we do need to scuff this up. And once you scuff it up, how do you know where to put the Bondo? There you go. All right. So the idea here is for each spot that you're going to see that you need to put filler in, and you can do them individually and overlap your circles, but draw a circle around far enough out that when you sand this, you don't sand away your mark, and that way you know where to put the Bondo. And of course, when we sand everything, those marks are going to get sanded out.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Sure. Another smaller one.
Okay. And that one, yeah, you can just make a big semicircle there. All right, how are we looking? Yeah, we're okay, I think, up here. I think we can do that.
Yeah, it looks pretty flat.
Okay. All right, let's take a look at the other side. So on this side, we got a couple of things going on. We're a little bit better back here. This is maybe just a touch, but not bad. It's a little low here, really deep here. This is definitely going to require metal filler. The interface up here is, it's not great, but it's a little bit better. But we've got a dent here, and I'm scratching my head trying to figure out just how somebody, unless they bashed their head in this, how they dented this. We're going to get the stud gun out and pull this out. This should be metal back under, it may be metal underneath here. If it's not, then metal filler. If it is, we're going to get the stud gun, pull that out. So same deal here. Go ahead and draw your circles, and we can get started on that. The Mustang has, the first coat of primer has been block sanded. We've got really close on our quarter to roof interface. A little bit left to go on that. Got a spot or two on this quarter, but not bad. Same thing over on this side. This looks a ton better than it did before we started. Alex is busy cleaning that and prepping it for another coat of primer. While he's doing that, I will be over here working on his bumpers. And the determination was made that he just flat doesn't have it in the budget yet to replace the bumpers. And these are, they're in awful shape. There's no two ways about it. But there is a way we can extend the life of these. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to hit these, I'm going to prep these for paint. And we're going to go ahead and paint these. He is going to put new bumpers on it, again, when it's in the budget. But for now, problem with painting chrome, if you just sand it, chrome is really, really hard. You can't sand and get a good bite. And what I have found is I'm going to hit the chrome, and of course this ruins them as far as chrome pieces, but I'm going to hit the chrome with a 24 grit grinding disc. And some areas, like right up in here, it's going to go through that like butter, but it's going to take the rust off, which we need to happen. Other areas, all it's going to do is just kind of, it's going to roughen up the chrome enough that it's got a tooth for paint to stick to. And in this case, it's actually going to be epoxy primer. And if you do that, you hit it with epoxy primer and then paint on top of that, that is the best way I have found to get paint to stick to what used to be chrome bumpers. So here we go. Well, that took all of about, oh, I don't know, 15 to 10 minutes, something like that. The chrome on this bumper, really, really, really thin. What you're seeing, the kind of goldish looking color in here, is actually the zinc coating when these bumpers are plated, I don't know all of the chemicals. I know that they dip them and they clean them and they do other stuff, and then they dip them in something, and then they dip it in something else, and then they dip it in zinc, and then they dip it in chrome, and then that's how it is. But there's a zinc coating underneath, and that's what that is. Some of what you're seeing here is not actually rust, it's actually zinc oxide, but that's actually because the air has gotten through the chrome to the zinc. And I'm going to hit this with Ospo, which should neutralize any remaining rust. And then I know it looks rough, and it's rough, but that's the kind of tooth you need. I'll hit this with about 2 coats of epoxy primer, and that gives us a base to continue sanding, and then it gives us a good base for eventually paint to stick to. Next, I'll work on the front bumper, and then these will next stop for these will be epoxy primer.
Oh, I can't leave you hanging on the bumpers, I'm sorry. When we work on Alex's car, again, it tends to be either 1 day a weekend, sometimes 2, and sometimes, you know, the project kind of just it stops, and then it gets caught up, we catch up the next weekend. So I did the bumpers a couple of weekends ago, and while he was at work during the week, I had an opportunity to paint them. That's why, well, you're going to see the temporary storage area for all the parts for Alex's car.
It's kind of up on my shelf here. So I know the lighting is not great, but you know, you saw how bad those bumpers look to begin with. That's with 2 coats of epoxy primer over the grinding, and it's basically sand it. It's got a few spots yet, but sand it real good. Maybe 1 more coat of epoxy primer, and well, they're ready to paint. I mean, they came out really good. So that's where the bumpers are right now. They're just kind of in storage.
So the bumpers are kind of up on the storage shelf right now because we're actually, as you're going to see next, going to start disassembling the car for final primer and final sanding and final paint. Alex has never actually operated one of these tools before. No big deal. It's not usually something that everybody does. I'm going to show him how to take the trim off of the windshield, rear window, front window, whatever. So you got just a basic tool here. What you're going to have is you're going to have a series of clips that this trim just, and this is actually loose here, but the trim just pushes down on, and then it clips on there. So what you want to do is you want to get behind that clip and just pull it out a little bit, and it releases, and you can pull the trim straight up. So you kind of run your tool until you feel it kind of touch the clip. You just kind of twist it, just gently pull up on your trim, and it's released. You go to the next one till you feel it. See how it lifts up?
Yeah.
And you go to the next one, same thing. And a lot of times, like down here, the trim is so tight you can't get the tool in. So
you have to start up higher.
Yeah, sometimes you just find the spot where, like right here, and you can work your way down, and then you can slide it continuously that way.
Okay.
So, think you can handle it? All right.
Probably gonna buy new clips. These things are.
I've got some.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a couple packages of them. Oh yeah, these clips are done. Yeah, this one just, it came apart already in 2 pieces. So I've got a package of these things.
I'm sure when moisture gets trapped underneath it.
Yeah, and it slowly kind of just rusts it out. Yeah, we'll have to do a little bit of cleanup inside this channel as well. Okay. Yeah, these things are basically coming out in pieces. Door lock cylinder removal on these cars is a heck of a lot easier than some others because you don't have to reach inside. Take your channel locks and just see if you can grab a hold of that.
See that?
Try your screwdriver, that might help. Now just wiggle and pull.
Go the other way. No, that's not gonna work.
Not gonna work that way.
Might need some needle nose.
Let me try this. Let me see.
Oh, there you go.
There it is. Hang on.
All right.
You do it. Easy.
Leverage.
All right, update on the Mustang. Wave to YouTube, Alex. Here's where we're at. We've got the car stripped down with everything that's going to be off. We don't want on it for painting. So we've got the door handles, door locks, windshield trim. This is going to have to stay because to pull that off, you basically destroy it most of the time. And so that'll just be taped up. We've got trunk lockout. The rear kind of filler panel back there is an option. Alex didn't like that, so I went ahead and welded up the holes there for him. We're gonna smooth that out and finish that up. So tail lights are out, side marker lights are out. Basically the car at this point is ready for not final sanding, but we're gonna go ahead and DA it. I should say Alex is gonna DA it with 180 just to knock down the roller ridges and bumps and get it to the point where the next coat of primer will be sprayed. So that's kind of where we're at, and I'm gonna put him to work sanding while I work on the tail panel and just check to see if our interface here at the roof and quarter need any additional work. There's a few spots I think it does need it. I can feel one right there. I'm gonna work on that while he works on the sanding. That's going to do it for this week, guys. We got the Mustang. Well, we're making good progress on the Mustang. How's that? We've got it completely in primer. The first base, actually, I guess it would technically be the second coat of primer. But we're down to, as you saw, we've started basically DAing the primer that's on there down only to knock out the roller marks because we've been rolling the paint on. That stops now. So once that's done, we're gonna block it again and it'll go in the paint booth. And then it'll get at least one more coat of primer in the paint booth. We'll assess it from there. If needs be, that will be sanded as well. Another coat of primer, and that'll be final, and then it'll be time for paint. I wanted to get a shot of the Mustang in the paint booth because I'm setting it up now. It's just, I just flat ran out of time. So that'll have to be next time. And you're probably the next episode on the Mustang you see is probably going to be where we're going to be painting it. I certainly appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks all you guys just following along every week. Please like, share, subscribe, notify. Is there anything else? I think that's it. Everybody, we'll see you next week. Have a great day.